Hello, and good evening. This is our 20th Rejviziji episode so far. So since this is going to be in English, might as well start in English. My name is Miloš Vujović. I am the host of this fine show, and today we have international guest, first time ever. He is a great DJ, a great friend of mine. One that started as a drum and bass DJ and now converted to the dark side of techno. So we will be chatting with him today about various things and how he achieved what he did and so on and so forth. After we finish the show, we're going to continue in Serbian to speak about some related things about our current status within the corona stuff, and that's it. That's basically what we're gonna do today. So we'll be now immediately switching to the one and only Vinicius Honorio. Hello, Vinny. You can unmute yourself, you beautiful man. You
finally. I feel great now.
Wait,
I can speak.
Yeah, you can finally speak. You've been on mute.
How
are you, Vinny?
I'm great. Yeah, I've got a neck pain, but other than that,
please,
I'm surviving 2020.
Please explain, people, why do you have a neck pain?
I took a job as a I've been to put up with the whole madness of staying home all the time and before I get depressed, I decided to take home Brazilian jiu-jitsu classes.
Ooh, nice.
And it's been fun. It's been a lot of fun until I get injured.
Oh yeah, so you're gonna be like this the whole time, right? Like
the most of the people I spoke about it, they said it's common. It's the first, but won't be the last.
You're probably gonna die with neck pain. You know that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. So I've been just looking after. But I did went to class today. It was okay. Yesterday was no good. I had my neck constantly turning to the left, and it was very, very painful. But now it's all right. Yeah, I even tried to do some music today, and
you made some nice tracks, probably, right? Did you make drum and bass or techno? What did you make?
I recently, I started doing. When I started producing, I did techno, and then I migrated into drum and bass, and I kept doing drum and bass for a good 15 years.
Jesus.
And at some point, I was not that extreme. It's like when you have the same job for that long. So sometimes you want to go into a new adventure. And I decided to, maybe I could put all the input in production I've been honing all these years in drum and bass and try to translate and see how far I could go with techno, because I always loved the sound, and every time I wanted to go out, I would try always to go to techno or house events, and I always had a lot of fun. And a lot of my friends, my close friends in Brazil as well, are techno DJs. So it went well. But I think from the past year up to now, I wouldn't say I've been back, but I kind of got a bit more involved again with drum and bass, and I started to do more drum and bass tracks because. I don't know exactly why, but one of the reasons that probably influenced me a lot was when I went to do techno, I couldn't do both together. At the beginning, I tried to do something like, let's call it Tuesday and bass, Wednesday techno Wednesdays, and then Thursday and bass. So I'll try to split my weekdays into different genres. But in the end, I just got confused, and my head was not really focusing on one sound. And there was this old saying that, if a drum and bass producer can produce any other sort of music. But I call it bullshit, because it's like from drum and bass to techno is a completely different technique. Of course, you still know how to use a compressor, how to use a limiter, and how to mix down a track. But it's a very different
kind of
direction. It's a different direction you go with your music. So now I feel a lot more comfortable with what sort of techno I write. And I'm a lot happier with how I write the techno. That open more space to go and do drum and bass as well without being too in two minds. I can do techno for a bit and then go do drum and bass, and
Nice.
it helps to escape a bit from that only do one sort of mentality of sound.
Other. Nice. So did you ever how many years did you need to, for example, produce as a drum and bass DJ, and then have the kind of the can you have balls to transfer to techno, to make techno? How many years have passed, for example?
I've been produced. I'm 37 now, right? So we're almost the same age, isn't it?
No, I'm younger. I'm younger.
You look older. You look a bit older, but it's because of the figure. And so I've been doing music now for 11 years. No, 21 years. 21 years. Yes, I was 16.
Yeah.
So the music I was writing when I was 16, it's not even close to the production skills that I got now.
Yeah, of course.
But I would say from the past 10 years, my drum and bass got a lot better. And in the last 3 years was when I wouldn't say I found the recipe, but I got my head around techno production a lot easier.
Yeah,
it was pretty much when I got the release on Dub Speakers Skeleton label, and then on Elevate, on Picket Dance label, and was more or less when I think I got the right way to write techno. And so I would say since the beginning, 21 years.
Yeah.
Only doing techno 3 to 4 years, and doing drum bass for another 10.
Nice. That's a lot of.
It's a.
That's a lot of experience, man.
Nice. Yeah, music production in general. It's a long journey, really.
It is. How did you actually? I mean, how did you decide to become a DJ? Coming from Brazil and coming from all those.
Story.
Sorry?
That was a funny story. Because I used to joke around, if you're born in Brazil and if you have a dark skin in Brazil, you're either gonna go for sports or music, because life does plays a. I don't know if you played that South Park game, that one. What was it called? South Park and something with butthole. I don't remember the name.
I don't know.
Yeah, so there's a cool analogy, because on the South Park game, you choose the difficult path for the game according to the skin color of your character. So the lighter the skin, the easier the game will be.
Oh fuck!
So you should try it. Yeah, I think the fracture butthole. It was the last South Park game, right?
Stick of Truth.
Stick of Truth was the first one. The second one's the fracture butthole. I loved both. I played both. So you could either go music or sports. And I was never really good at football, which was the main thing. Brazilians are famous for having a good football.
Of course,
not anymore.
Yeah,
not anymore. But we used to be.
Yeah.
And then I in the beginning, I sound like an old elder.
Old dude, yeah.
When there was no internet, I was there.
20 years ago, I started.
Yeah, there was no internet. And then, at the beginning of MP3s, I always had this connection to play video games really loud, to collect music from all sorts, and had the Prodigy CDs and vinyl and whatnot. And then the school I was on high school.
Yep.
They always had a party every 3 months, like a getting the students together and having meeting the teachers and whatnot. And at some point, they used to hire a venue and get a DJ, which was really, really nice for the time. But I felt this is really cool. I always admired the job. I always thought it was interesting. And one of my computer programming teachers, he was a DJ wannabe already. He had decks at home. We didn't really know how to mix back then. But he said, "Oh, Vinny, you had a lot of MP3s, bring them to me so we can make a playlist, and then we can do a set at the next school party." And I thought it was a genius idea. I was excited. I had mixtapes and whatnot. And then the disappointing fact was the day we had the event, the guy that is actually the resident DJ that have the CDJs and the mixer, he did not like the idea that the teacher and one of the students wanted to play, and he got very he was a bit confusion very last minute, because I don't know if I ever told you this story. It was
No, you
interesting
never.
because the guy, in the end, the guy that was the DJ, he did not let the teacher touch the CDJs, because he's like, hey, you don't know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really know what we were doing. And then,
Of course, you didn't know.
no, we didn't. Yeah, well, he had like CDJ 700. He had one 700, Pioneer 700. You guys can Google that. It's a pretty old school CDJ.
Yeah, it is.
And
I hate those. I hate those, man.
Yeah, those are horrible.
Yeah.
But it was his, so it was very expensive for the time. And he obviously did not let some random people touch it, maybe break it. So my professor got really upset and decided to go home and got really upset. And I stayed there with our track list and like 5 CDs. And then, but the guy saw that, that was a not big deal that my professor made it. Maybe, I don't know. And he came back to me, the DJ's like, oh, you got some music there. If you tell me which track to play, I'll play the tracks for you, and we can do like a back-to-back set. But
wow.
that blew my mind, right? I was like, oh, this is amazing. And that's how I probably began how to DJ.
Nice. Did you collect vinyl at one point?
Yeah, I did. They had because I would everyone said back in early 90s, like, if you're a DJ, you're gonna play vinyl.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It kind of went modern, and now it's backwards, because people do appreciate vinyl again.
Yep.
And I had a pair of Gemini turntables. Those were horrible.
Mm-hmm.
And my friends, all the friends that were old school DJs, they always gave me like some house or dance music records to collect and to mix at home. And it's pretty much how it all started. I got famous for being the DJ from that party without even knowing how to mix.
Nice. Nice. You're the first DJ that doesn't know how to mix, and that actually became popular.
I'm not the first, and not the last DJ that doesn't know how to mix. But I was 16, and it was all fun, and it was. And then I turned out to play different parties after, and learning how to mix, and it was. I felt like the music thing is more like a collective, and you make lots of friends and other people that were DJs, that were professionals, and so forth, and. Nice. Yeah, I still got some of the guys from that time. They're still my friends.
Of course. And you made new ones, like myself.
Yeah, exactly. Nice. The music goes in circle, and I believe that the people you meet and then you click, and it's good to keep them around, because those are a part of your history, isn't it?
Of course. Before we continue, the sound is not really good on my end. Please take that thing off.
I'll try to better. Hold on a second.
Switch to the normal one, because I don't think that we can hear you properly, and it's just cracking the sound.
All right, is it better?
Yeah, I think you're better. Just come a little closer. Come a little closer, Winnie. Not too close. No, not too close. All right. Next question. One of the big ones. This show has been made to, kind of introduce people to, to the hard stuff of DJing and the hard part of getting into the big scene. How did you get into the world international class of DJs? Because
that almost happened as it flows. I did not plan anything of what happened towards the years, because I used to.
What was the turning point? That's the main question. How did you get to the turning point of you being
when I moved to Europe, pretty much, and then it was my only option, because it was in Brazil. I had 3 jobs.
Yep.
Right. I was a light jockey at an underground. They would say the transgender club these days. I was jockey there, worked the sound. I was fixing lights, fixing the sound, which was fun. It was a lot of fun to work there, but it was a every night sort of job and did not pay enough. I also worked in a call center.
Okay.
I used to sell mobile phones over the phone to people, which was a really stupid job, and it still makes no sense to me.
Yeah.
And that was my second job. My third job, I was a resident DJ at an ice cream shop.
Wow, resident DJ at an ice cream shop. That is amazing, man.
Then out of those 3 jobs, I saved money to move to Europe.
Yeah.
And once I managed to come to Europe, I I looked back and I saw that the thing I had in Brazil, there was no future for me. So what I did here was to really go deep into production. And my drum and bass productions, they kept getting a bit better, and I got released on better labels and more DJ support. And I think because I was on my early 20s, so you have your survival instincts are a lot stronger. You care a lot less, and you need a lot less as well. So I was happy to have pasta for lunch and dinner every day.
Just to survive.
Yeah, so I was just like, this is good. I had some gigs. It pays my rent. And but yeah, I think the releases, the drum bass releases, were actually what kept me lead to survive in Europe. And I end up meeting more people, and and when I decided to do techno, I thank you my drum and bass stuff, because I had to stop doing drum bass to just focus and write techno. And it was through the gigs that the drum bass gigs were quite often, and they were good gigs. And with the money from those gigs, I could pay all my bills and just focus on doing techno.
Interesting. Yeah. Nice.
Because I had to swing around what to do, and I was not getting techno gigs to pay any bill. And the drum bass stuff was actually holding me. It's like having a day job, isn't it? Because the guy's like, I'm gonna have a regular job as I build the DJ career. So it was pretty much what I did. I kept the drum bass stuff going to do techno. And I think after I had the release on Drumcode, which happens in a really, really surprising way, because I was always a big fan of Drumcode, the old school Drumcode, Jomu and Karijeri.
Yep.
I really wanted to release music on the label, and it was the one thing I liked it. And I spent almost many years just giving demos to Adam. He never really did anything until I gave music to Alan Fitzpatrick, and he closed his set before Adam with one of my tracks. And coincidentally, my release on Pig and Dance label came out, and Adam Beyer played one of the tracks. And then I emailed Adam, and I said, "Oh, thank you for playing." And then he asked me for that one track Alan Fitzpatrick played before.
So he remembered your track in his set. Yeah,
it was called Through the Darkness.
Of course, I know of it.
And it was funny because I told him, like, I gave you this track on a CD a year ago.
And you didn't even open it. Yeah. So it's...
And that, for techno, that was the breakthrough of having gigs. And
so you had one major label, like at that moment, the most popular label, like Drumcode. You made an EP.
I had on drum and bass. I did on a few really nice labels. The label I worked the most was called Virus. It belongs to two guys called Ed Rush and Optical, and they were really nice people. And they always support my music. I don't really know why. I think we just got along well.
Yeah.
But those drum and bass releases were what kept me in Europe for this long. And plus, you got to really want it, because if I look, as I say, I look back to Brazil, and I had 3 jobs that barely paid my bills. And then I say I either stay in Europe and make it happen somehow. I didn't really know how, but I had to put an effort. It was that or go back. And it was, looking back, if I could give advice to anyone, that if I couldn't go back in time and tell advice to myself, I would have put more time into write music back then and had more releases before making the move.
So you have like a capital.
I would have more of a catalog and where to go better, because when I moved here, I think I was very fortunate, because most of the people I've met, they were always really, really nice to me. Or like when I was extremely broke, like my friend Sayo, he's a friend from South Africa that I haven't seen in a long time. When I moved to England for the first time, I stayed here for 6 months, which was what my visa allowed. You
have visa problems, same as we do.
Brazilians and Serbians,
same shit.
And then he used to pay, I think, like £400 rent for his room, and he said, you give me £100 and you put a mattress in my room and you can just stay there. But turns out I didn't really paid the £100 he asked me for. I think I paid 50 or help. It's something that people helped you out without really asking for anything back.
Of course.
And throughout my life, those gestures really helped. And
of course, those are the people that throughout electronic music, they we try to help each other, and then we try to kind of support even in those kind of times, like you were, without money, without gigs, but eventually it paid off. Look, you're a successful DJ now. His involvement in your life and helping you made up for you're now two-time DJs. Yeah.
Like without those guys, it's not even the records or the gigs, but actually the friends that let you, for example, let you stay in their couch.
Yeah.
Like that's friends of mine in Belgium when I moved back to Europe, because I went back to Brazil, then I stayed there for 3 months and I to sort out my paperwork before I made the final move. And then the 2 friends in Belgium, they let me stay in their couch for 3 months rent free.
Whoa, nice.
Food and stuff, but they're like, no, we don't want any money. When you get your gigs and if you wanna stay with us. And turns out I didn't stay with them. I moved away, but it was not because of them. There were a lot of people. I love those guys. But you see the point. It's like people just like, oh, if you want to crash, and
you can always move to Serbia. Like I've told you 100 times. You can sleep in my toilet. I mean, I have a deal. It's fine. It's.
We need to have your cat. Your cat looks lovely.
Yeah. She'll fuck you up, while you sleep. No, just kidding.
Those are and especially when you're a beginner. Like most of my travels in the beginning, and it's just like, you like a promoter will say, oh, you come play my gig, but can you stay in my house? So you don't have to spend money over hotel. I've done many gigs like that.
We all did. Man, we slept like you know how it goes. Like we go to a gig. Yeah, I don't know, hotel needed. We just sleep on a mattress, Or,
in a sofa. That was a
sofa,
story.
Yeah.
I remember I went for a really early gig in Germany once, and I think my arrival was at 8:00 in the morning, and the departure was at 5 in the afternoon. But the promoter was this big hippie. Yeah. And he confused my arrival with the departure. So I arrived at the airport at 8:00 in the morning, and I had no money to put credits on my phone, right? So now I'm waiting for this guy to pick me up, and he never came. And I was just like desperate. I was like, well, I got a sandwich in my bag. I'm just going to sit here and wait. Yeah. I waited until 5:00 in the afternoon that day.
Fuck.
And he came over. It's like, oh, you here already? It's like, dude, I've been here since 8 in the morning. He's like, why you didn't call it? I was like, because I haven't got money to put credit on my phone. Because it was one of those gigs. Because nowadays, most of the DJs, they want money up front to pay them in advance. And when you get to a more professional level, you get paid in advance. But when I was around here for the beginning, and you just get cash at the gig.
Of course.
So I was like, dude, I'm here. Like, are you hungry? I was like, well,
a little bit, yeah. 9 hours of waiting. Nice.
Many gigs like that, man. Many gigs like that.
How many gigs per? If you know this kind of information, how many gigs per year would you have in the top of your career? Not this year. Mine is this year, of course.
I don't know, but I was playing often. I would say 3 to 4 gigs every month.
Nice. So these are the all drum and bass or techno?
Yeah, it was all drum and bass. Yeah. The techno gigs was an interesting thing, because when I was starting, the gigs were kind of picking up, and then when I had the Drumcode release, the gigs did like this, it jumped.
Yeah.
Had a solid 6 months of like 3-4 gigs every month.
Nice.
But then because it was more a commercial label. And the promoters that booked you because you were the new guy. They keep just like, oh, when is you gonna have your next release on that label?
Yes. So they were associating you strictly with Drumcode and if you're gonna release there again, right?
Yeah. So, but then I tell you, to release there, it was a great experience. A bless and a curse at the same time, because it's a very hard label to get on, and a very hard label to keep going. And with the sound changing, my sound personally changed a lot. I went a lot more underground, the direction the label goes, and that's why it's not really for me. Good for whoever loved it, but I can tell like he did a massive peak on gigs, but then the same way he went quick up and kind of fade out. So over the years after there, as I was trying to find the direction of sound I was trying to go, the gigs they start to climb me back slowly, and yeah, so it depends on what you want
What you
from
want
your
with,
music.
yeah.
But if you want a quick success, you can do that. Go for the biggest label, have a few release in that, and you're gonna come up. But then, in the long run,
yeah, it's not sustainable, so to speak, you know.
No, but as long as you enjoy the music. I remember when I did that. When my first productions were a bit more groovy, and then I went for what they call the peak time big room, which was not even called big room 3 years ago, right?
Yeah.
Then I realized that sound, it kind of translates. Speaking about the sound itself, it translated a lot from what I started disliking in drum and bass. Because drum and bass, it like back in the 90s, 2000, was more about the groove and the funk of the, was a bit more. It was not simply produced, but a lot of tracks were very complex. But it had what people say had a bit more soul in the track. And that's the point. Drum and bass got very hard and very loud, and it was, instead of about being the drums and the bass, were about the build-ups. Right. So every single track had a breakdown, with snare, kick roll, and then drops into big explosion drop, and then goes back to the breakdown, more snare rolls, and the techno I was following. I saw the same pattern.
The exact same pattern.
Which is what you see nowadays. Big breakdowns and a bit trancey snare rolls.
Snare rolls. I love snare rolls.
So it was like, when I saw that, I was like, I don't think this is for me. So I took a step back to reanalyze what I was writing, where I want to go, and plus what happened as well. I had a few gigs in Berlin. And the first one was actually a drum and bass gig, and managed to go to Berghain. Which is my favorite place for techno on earth, hands down.
Okay.
And after I got to that place, I was so surprised with it, and I was like, "Oh, this is the sound I've been searching for."
Nice. So you got enlightened inside of Berghain, right?
It was like, "Oh, this is interesting." Then I start to see the more underground techno with different eyes. Not underground itself, because when I was doing drum and bass already, I always loved Ben Sims.
Yeah, of course.
And Clark and Len Faki, or the more well-known underground guys.
Yeah.
But the sound itself, it was what changed my perspective the most.
Interesting. Yeah. So how do you think? But in relation to that, for example, if you were to, let's say, keep up with the top labels in any kind of techno, whether it be like big room or more underground, like you said, what do you need to do? Do you need to have constant releases on top labels all the time?
That's a tricky one. From my experience, right? It's very difficult to approach the bigger labels, because they already heard it from one of the guys when I was talking to, like, he only signed artists that he knows and plays the music. So which means you already need to have music on another label that goes into that guy's hands, or people that is around him that he knows closely as a friend, personally, or someone that it's new but a friend of his recommended.
Okay. So it all goes like that,
You that just write music at home. I write music in, this is a studio because it's not in my bedroom anymore, so it's a separated room for doing it. But it's still in my home. It's nothing very posh. It's just a computer and the speakers. But it's very difficult to get you to do music here. And how do you approach one of those guys? So it is very difficult. So my point of view is like, you do music on labels you like, and if it will reach the guys you want, if you're doing the right music, it might take time. What you can do, what I also did, I don't know if it worked, but because you could always go to the parties, maybe not now, because
obviously,
Yeah, you could go to a party. Let's say I'm a big Milos fan.
Yes,
and I
you
want
are.
to meet
You are.
track. So I go to the party you're playing. That's what I did. I bring not a CD anymore. Bring a USB pen drive with your music in there.
Yep.
You know, your phone number, your email. Give to the guy. That's exactly how I got a release on Pig and Dance label. They played the Egg in London, and I went there. I gave a USB to Dan. But that's not precisely the story. It's not that he went home, listened to my music, and called me the next day.
Yeah.
No, he went home and threw my USB anywhere. So
fuck this guy, like.
Yeah, whatever, this dude, another USB.
Yeah.
So his girl was looking for a USB to put some of her documents, and he's like, "Yeah, just go in the studio. There's a pile of USBs there."
There's a pile of USB I get all the time, you know. Oh man.
And she picked mine and told him there was some music in there. He's like, "Oh, let me have a look before."
Wow. Like that's a nice story. I like this story.
That was luck, isn't it? Because it was 1 in a million. She could have picked a different USB.
Yeah.
I never had. And then as I said, reaching the labels that you will reach the person you like.
Yeah.
And the release on Elevate reached Dadan Bayer back then, and then from there I established the connection to get a release on DC.
Nice. So this is what we're talking about on this show. So building the pyramid, so to speak. So you build a bottom with solid labels, and then those solid labels, your music gets heard, from bigger names, bigger labels, and everything else, and it kind of builds up until your end goal, right? In the end, you get to the top labels you want.
Maybe you don't need to be at the top label. Just be at the labels you want and work with the people you like, because it can be stressful to go for one record label. They really drink. There's an old saying that a friend of mine told me many years ago: "You never meet your heroes." So I've met some of my heroes.
Yeah.
I did not think it was a great idea. So maybe it's important to have your music on the bigger labels, which will help to increase your profile and whatnot. But at this point, I try to work with people I like, because it's usually stress-free.
Yes, it's much more comfortable, so to speak.
Like I work a lot with Planet Rhythm now. He's run by a guy called Marco. I've met Marco many years ago because he's also a drum and bass DJ. Yeah. The guy that managed Planet Rhythm. Yeah. And we've been in touch for many years because I have my record labels with his job. And like when I send music to him, he picks the track he likes. He always paid well. Release comes out. It's stress. He does the promo. The promo reach the right people. It's a good relationship between the artist and the label, because it can be so stressful when you send your demo to somebody and the guy never listens.
Yeah, of course. Or he listens, he doesn't even reply.
When he listens, reply, say he likes it, and then
never release it.
Or he gets deeper when he's like, "I'm gonna release it," and then the label disappeared. I've been to every possible situation with music to at this point. That's what I say. I work with the people I like, and I try to send music to the people I like, and if it happens for them to like the music, it is happy times.
That's
because
nice.
It helps to build a solid foundation to your
career. Yeah. How would you for example, if there's an uprising superstar DJ from any country, let's say Serbia or anywhere else, no, don't look at me, no, I'm not talking about myself. I'm talking about, like, what would your suggestion be, for example, as to continuing your career further away from your home country? Say, for example, you moved from Brazil to Europe, and you had to make that. But for example, if you were in Europe, from our country, for example, and do you need to move to England? Do you need to move to Amsterdam, Berlin? All those main techno trance capital.
I did live in Switzerland for 6 years, right? Because it was, believe it or not, it was in a way the cheapest place I could live on. Without much trouble about visas and whatnot. Yep. But I think it helped because they had a stronger electronic music scene in general. Yeah. They still do. So for the drum bass thing, for example, I could go to any small party and they had like one top DJ playing. So I could approach them easier. Like another example, I met the drum bass guys at Russian Optical, who I had many releases with at a local club there. So if the same guys played in Brazil, they would play in festivals like Exit, like massive stages. And I remember when NDC played at this festival called Skull Beats in Brazil. I had a CD to give to the guy, but the guy was like 100 meters away from me in this massive stage. I could not just throw a CD.
And then hit him in the head.
But for example, if you come to London, there was Fabric. The DJ booth at Fabric, it's tiny, and you can literally touch the DJ playing there. So it was easy to just approach the guy and handle a CD.
You could even insert the CD.
I could actually eject his CD back then.
Play mine.
Go for this one. But then living in a place, I wouldn't say London necessarily, but living in a place that have a strong and healthy electronic music scene will help. It's not like you could live in a farm in Sweden, in some crazy city in Sweden, but you can write amazing music, but you won't meet the people, you won't meet the DJs you like, so you might be isolated. You can't isolate yourself after you reach whatever you want to reach. But for me, what helps, like, I did not live in London as for that long period of time. I lived in Zurich, then I lived in Bern. It had all sorts of parties, techno, house, drum, bass. I met Alan Fitzpatrick in Zurich.
Oh, nice! Of all the places, 8-9
years ago, way before I was doing techno. I have a picture of the dude. I met Adam May at this random. I was wasted, and I was like, "Let's have a picture."
Come on, Adam, let's have a picture together. Oh man,
that was like what 8 years ago, 9 years ago, before I even had a focus on doing techno. So it's important to live in somewhere to have a healthy scene.
Busy scene.
And it helps with your production, because then you're gonna write a track at home and you're not gonna give to the guy to play in a club, but you might listen how, let's say, for example, techno is loud in the club, with that feeling, how the vibe is, and you go back home and you might realize that you need a kick drum instead of just snare. So like, oh, maybe I should need a kick drum, because that's it shapes your perception of the music. So Serbia, Belgrade has an extremely excellent scene for electronic music. I remember that one party we went together. What was it?
One. We went to many parties, my friend. I can't remember.
See, they had this huge lineup throughout like 2 or 3 days during New Year's Eve.
Oh, where were we? I can't remember. Oh yeah, the blender parties, the big one. We listened to Charlotte Witt and whatnot. I was Central Dance event. I remember those. Yeah, we went there.
There was someone else playing the day before and someone else playing the day after. So that's a healthy scene. I think that helped. You could be living in Belgrade, which has a healthy scene, or let's say mostly capital, Zurich, Berlin, London.
So mostly capitals in
I lived in Brussels as with these 2 friends for 3 months, and there were not that many parties. So years ago. Now it's
different,
But I did go to Fuse, for example. That in general, I did not enjoy the scene back then, and there was not much for me to do with drum and bass. But when I moved to Zurich, I could be out every weekend. There was something to do, someone to see. I think that was very refreshing.
But those kind of moments when you read other famous DJs biographies, and at one point you see that it's very, very often I've seen it, like they always say that they actually moved to Berlin or Amsterdam or whatever to advance their career. Doesn't necessarily have to be like that. Do you need to move to those cities for your advancement in career? Coming from, if you're from Europe.
No, I think if you have a good environment around you, you're fine. If you're in Serbia, if there's enough techno parties and enough artists that you like and play the music coming to your city, you're good. At some point you're gonna meet them in their cities. you're going to establish that relationship. Obviously, I would not take the credit. If you go Berlin, there are techno parties left, right, and center.
Yeah.
Every weekend, all weekend. So it's a easier, as they call it, would say that the mecca of techno.
Yeah. More opportunity, right?
Huh?
More opportunity for.
Yes, I wouldn't say it's too much. It's just great. You have different options, and you have more in the same place.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that if you're in Belgrade or if you're in Brazil, probably that wouldn't help. But if in Europe, I think you have I wouldn't say you have easier, but things in Europe are a lot easier going. For example, I just said, if you go Brazil to play in Brazil, you're going to play these big festivals and you're international.
Yeah.
In Europe, you don't have this mentality. People are a lot more down to earth. Most of the guys I've met, like I think one of my coolest groupie moments was when I played with Marco Bailey.
Where?
In Kruševac.
Kruševac. No, you played in Kraljevo. It was Kraljevo. No, Kragujevac. Sorry, Kragujevac. You played in the festival in Kragujevac maybe 3 years ago. Yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Marco Bailey from 2000. I had a lot of his old, like very tribal, fast vinyls, and then comes this guy, and I'm like, oh my God, it's Marco Bailey. Oh my God, it's Marco. And then he's like, hey, how's it going? And he shakes my hand, gives me a hug. I'm like, oh.
Wow, yeah, what a moment. Nice.
Yeah, and then we met again in Brazil. We played together the Edge club in São Paulo.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you're here again. So it's such a huge difference of places. And the guy was like, I saw you in Brazil.
Yeah, he remembered. Yeah, nice.
I think there's a difference between playing there. And obviously, if I did not know the guy, like everyone around him in Brazil were kind of overprotecting him. So they would not, like you come close, they're like, why you want to come close? And But in Europe, people are a lot more approachable and easier going.
Open,
yeah. I think it is.
How do
to me, it was a good move to come to Europe.
Fair point. How do you
be an ice cream DJ resident? Isn't it?
Yeah, coming from an ice cream DJ resident, yeah, this is a big step for you. Yeah, nice. Nice. I'm gonna rename you in my phone. I'm gonna rename ice cream resident DJ.
Ice cream resident DJ.
You're gonna get it.
I did not get paid in ice cream. So.
Yes, you did. How do you cope now during this situation with COVID and stuff like that? I mean, I know how you suffer, but please tell the audience how you suffer.
It's pretty mad.
Yeah.
I had a rough start of the year, right? Because of many factors, but with the no gigs, in the beginning of it in March, April, May, I was joking about because to spend a long period of time of being broke and have no gigs, I've been trained already my whole life for this. So
yeah, I know that, man.
I've seen that before. But now it's very crazy. So survival for me now, it's doing music, right? Because music still sells. So I have...
Thankfully.
Luckily, I went back on doing drum and bass before this whole thing came out. So I've been doing a lot of techno, a lot of drum and bass, signing music to the labels I like, and with the people I like. And I also have my 2 record labels. One is Dirty Audio for drum and bass and Liberta for techno. So that generates a small income, from sales. I get money from my publisher, which if you are an artist now, you're going to have a publisher, which is the guy that registers every production you have released. And he, together with a society of musicians, collect let's say your track plays on radio, national radio. The radio needs to pay the rights to the artist to have their music played. So a publisher is the guy that collects that money from whoever played your music and gives you. Obviously, he takes the percentage, but
royalties,
publishing, label. I took a small job as a label manager for a multi-genre label here in the UK as well. We haven't got much going on, but that's an extra job.
It's gonna pick up.
Fingers crossed.
Do you do Ghost productions?
Huh?
Do you do Ghost productions? Do you make music for other people?
Honestly, I have this one experience, right, with with someone I know from Switzerland.
Okay.
And I don't know if I should say the story.
You should, please. We love the
Yes.
intrigue.
Long story short, we had an agreement for X amount of tracks, and the person decides like the person is a singer, so it was not a fully Gost production.
Mm-hmm.
The person will come in for vocals,
mm-hmm.
and I'll do the production around it.
Mm-hmm.
And then she paid half of the job, said that she would record the vocals again because it was just a first version of the vocals, and we died.
Nothing happened.
It was my bad. So if any one of you guys are thinking about working as a Gost producer, get paid in full. Because when we had the agreement, I was trying to be nice and honest. I say, you pay 50% now
mm-hmm.
and 50% when I deliver the tracks.
Mm-hmm.
And I never delivered the tracks because she never saved the vocals. So,
but you got the money. In advance. I mean, you got the 50%.
The money. It's half of the money, Milos.
Nice. It's pretty nice.
You want to get the full pay because I want to finish the music.
Yeah.
But that was it. So if you ever think about doing Gost production, make sure you get paid in advance.
All right, I'll keep that in mind. I
did some jobs mixing down music for the people.
Mm-hmm.
But the issue I found, some people really enjoy mixing and mastering for the people, but
mm-hmm.
I found that they don't have that much of patience for it, because when you send that, let's say I mix down your track, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you tell me, Vini, I want my tracks to sound like Enrico San Giuliano.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, dude, you're going to call Enrico San Giuliano to mix it down for you.
Because it's his sound, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was a classic story related to that, because I remember a friend of mine, he was mixing down a band,
mm-hmm.
live band.
Mm-hmm.
And then the guitar player wanted his guitar sounding like Jimi Hendrix.
Fuck.
And my friend was like, how would I get his guitar sound like Jimi Hendrix? Jimi Hendrix. So then back to my experience with mixing down music for people, when I delivered the product,
mm-hmm.
The artist was like, but you remove this sound, you remove that sound, and this is not loud. And I fixed everything. And it was such a long strain of feedback. So the job that would take me an hour to do,
mm-hmm.
get paid, moved on, it took me like a week.
Yeah, it's a bit long, yeah.
He just came back, you could do this, and I did that. Oh, you could do that. And I was like, now you happy? Yeah,
mm-hmm.
and then past a month, but I played the track. It might need a little bit. So in the end, I realized I was spending more time doing music for other people than doing my own stuff. And
nice.
I enjoy writing my own music.
Nice. So you're surviving, so to speak, within this hard times. Nice. I have one last question for you, because we're already 15 minutes in, and this is part because you know
Techno in Serbia. I like it.
Sorry.
You like the Joe Rogan of Techno?
Yeah, Joe Rogan of Serbia. Yeah, I am. I'm trying to be.
A skinny Joe Rogan.
Skinny Joe Rogan. Yeah. That's true. In regards to our scene as it is, you've played here a couple of times. Through my stories, and we communicate every day. And what would you say to Serbian DJs and to our community, our electronic scene? How could we make it better? That is my last question for you.
Hey, I'm Brazilian. I couldn't help, not even the Brazilian scene. And,
no, but coming from your experience and the stuff now, and how do you think we should advance further?
It's a bit silly to say, like, in corners, like, you gotta unite to make something better and bigger. But every one of us want their own thing and their own sound, and there'll be always have a healthy competition in a way,
mm-hmm.
which I think is what caused most of the drama. Because I think the more you get involved, the more stressed you are.
Yeah.
So I don't know, Milos. I think from what I do now,
mm-hmm.
right? I see from when I go to Brazil.
Yep.
Like, I see everyone competing to play at the same club, and when I go there, I feel that I don't compete with anyone, because I play, and I leave back to Europe.
Yeah.
So I think that's the mentality you should do. Not think that you're competing directly with anyone else. It's just you do, it's this, I'm sure you all heard it before. Do your thing and let the other guy does his thing. And that's how we should all operate, especially with music. Like if you're doing the more, let's say, peak time sort of techno, and I'm going a lot more underground. So, but we still exchange beats within each other. I send you my music, and
I say shit. I send you my music. You say shit. You know, we communicate.
No, but see, that's the important thing, because you're doing your thing and I'm doing my thing, and we're still friends, and there's no reason to be bitchy with each other.
Yeah. Do you think we should, like, you know? I don't know how the scene is in London, but do you guys, you know, support each other there, come to each other's parties, wherever you're making the same music or different kind of music?
I personally try to go to, well, I used to go to as many parties as I can to see the guys that like playing, and you end up meeting people that, you know, that's this connections that you can get from being in a dance floor. You see someone, have a chat. Turns out, I tell you, there's this guy I write music with called Duncan MacDonald.
Okay.
We did a track on Arts, on Emmanuel's Arts. There's a track on Planet Rhythm, a track on the Portuguese label called Highs Collective. But the story how we've met, it's exactly what I'm saying. I went to a party to see a friend of mine playing. He went to the same party to see the same friend playing, but we weren't friends back then. So we look at each other, someone introduced us, and we started to talk about anything but music. And when he mentioned music, and I was really drunk, and
of course,
drinking milk, isn't it?
Yeah.
So then I was like, I gave him my phone. I was like, look, just put your Instagram on my phone. We'll talk tomorrow.
Yeah,
and then I was following the guy on Instagram.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, you follow me already? I was like, who? What's your name again?
Nice.
And then we connected. You know, and we made music together. We get along, and I think this is, you got to go to the people you like parties and support the other promoters as well. I don't think that. Yeah. I don't see anything as a competition, because there's a space for everybody.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
If your music
that's
is good,
that's what I wanted to hear. Yeah.
If your music is good, that's like, it's not that, even if we are on the same label. I've seen this a lot. People go, because we're on the same label, and I felt like some guys were poking me because I was on that label, and then their label, they also released music on the label, but they had more releases than I did, so they think they're better than me. And it's not the point, isn't it? So, you know, I do music. If your music is good, gonna come out.
Yeah.
That DJ will play, you'll play, I will play, and so forth. So you don't have to worry about what's your neighbor.
Anything. Yeah. That's a smart idea. I mean, we definitely need to keep things together, you know, and support each other. That's what I wanted to hear from you. Yeah.
Exactly. That's not really.
There's space for everybody. That's what I wanted to hear. There's space for everybody.
Because if you see any scene and like, this guy's number one, but for me to get to number one, I need to be better than that guy. He come, you know, you can have a number one, the guy can have a number one. And in the end, if you don't have a number one, but he plays the music, you play his music, and obviously no one have gigs now, but if you got gigs and you play, I think that the goal, Milos, is to win, not to look like you're winning.
Yeah. It's actually win. Yeah. Yeah. Nice.
I consider myself blessed, because I could do what I like now. Let's not go that far away, but pay the bill with what I like, and it's like I don't want millions, and I'm happy.
Yeah.
Because in a way, this is the job. I can do the job. I can. But you shouldn't see the other people as competition, because then you get crazy. And with all the social media, and you're like, oh, because I'm home writing music, and then Milos is there by the beach playing deep house.
Yeah.
You shouldn't see that like, oh my God, all that spray. You want to be there. You want to be the guy. Like, no, you like be happy for the guy. Like, oh, he's doing great.
Yeah. Don't be jealous, and don't be envious. You know.
Yeah. Don't be jealous.
Don't be jealous. Yeah.
Because I've seen with many people in my own situations, and some days you're rocking, and some days you're not rocking anymore, and then the next day you're rocking, the next day you're not rocking.
It's an endless circle of ups and downs. Yeah.
And someone told me that, like, you know, once you're the number one, once you're on the top of it, the only way is down.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, that's a smart thing. Yeah, the only way is hard down, so to speak. So
yeah, and plus that was this very clever saying. They are probably read on a fortune cookie. It's like
Chinese.
Don't step on people that when you're going up, don't step on people. Be nice to everybody, because when you fall down, they're gonna be the first one to swing the bat at you. Yes. So
to kick you. I'll be the first one to kick you if you fall down. Don't worry.
Exactly. Like that's why I don't play FIFA against you, because you're too good. I wouldn't risk. I'm like, I want to play FIFA with Milo.
Yeah, you know me all too well, my friend. That's great. Yeah. Vinny, thank you very much for your time today.
The chat, and it's already an hour.
Yeah, it's already an hour. It's already too quick. I would love to invite you to a future project we will probably be doing. It's production wise, and we have this idea to make kind of tips and tricks live, so that people can join in and ask you questions, stuff like that. Since you're doing Cubase, I would like to call you once in future time, maybe in a couple of months. That project will be live. For you to make some beats live, show people how you make, for example, cake bass.
That might not happen because I say that my music is like sausage. So if you see how it's being done, you're not gonna eat it.
Oh no, it will be fine. I've seen how you make your cakes, and it's kind of it's good.
You're gonna be disappointed. You'll be disappointed. Like, that's how you do it.
It's that easy. No, it's fine. No. You'll be okay. Vinny, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me, man. That was fun.
I will kick you out of the show right now, and we will meet later up. Goodbye, my friend. Thank you again. Thanks. Bye. All right. Let me just. I'm just here first. Možemo da se vratimo i na srpski sada, na naš maternji jezik. Eto, to je bio prvi stranac. Nadam se da vam se svidio i ovaj koncept. Eto, malo čujemo kako izgleda ono preko. Vini poznati DJ u inostranstvu i mislim preko. Radio je kod nas par puta i kao drum and bass DJ i kao techno DJ, i vidjet ćemo da ga zovemo još jednom da dođe obavezno čim bude bilo prilike za to. Hvala vam još jednom na svima što su gostovali, što su vidjeli, što su gledali ovaj show. Za vikend ko je na time kodu, koji je tako u žurci na onom džiđerskom Fantast Castle u Vojvodini, tamo ćemo da radimo time code žurku i bit će super sa Matadorom, Androm Elenom, Nikolom Mihajlovićem i bit će ekstra. Nadam se da ćemo da se vidimo tamo. I za sledeću nedelju se vidimo u četvrtak, gost iznenađenja. I onda ćemo verovatno 22.10. da dovedemo finaliste našeg velikog takmičenja Blender Lex Mixed takmičenja koje je sad bilo, koje je završeno nedavno, a o tome više sledeće nedelje. Do tada, hvala vam još jednom svima i vidimo se sledeći četvrtak. Bye bye. Ćao.